12. Here's Zach.
Hometown Country. 102.5 KHLB. That's Barry Kaye.
Hometown Country, 102.5 KHLB.
Music powerhouse. It's Barry Kaye.
KHLB.
Good morning. Free for All Friday.
Every morning I'm standing right here by myself in the control room right across from the Mason Square.
1025 KHLB.
It is my job to entertain, help people get up, play great music for them, try to be funny, get them started with a chuckle.
I've got Pokes the pig.
His day begins way before dawn in the Texas Hill Country. Veteran disc jockey Barry Kaye is always busy with time, tunes, and the temperature for the town of Mason.
7:42 in the morning. It's going to be partly cloudy. High today is going to be only 70 degrees.
Although Barry Kaye seems to never be at a loss for words, he doesn't talk much about his history on the airwaves.
Okay, Bob, I'm going to let you hear some of my work way back in the 60s. You got to bear with me because these have been in my barn in a box for years.
Your air checks.
The air checks, and they're a little scratchy and hard to understand.
Let's listen.
Okay.
104 KRBE Houston. It's 4 o'clock with the Boogie Man. It's Barry Kaye. It's down with little China Grove. I say, hey.
That's the guy.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's when I've started becoming myself.
654 KTSA and Barry Boogaloo Kaye. At South Texas, 7 o'clock with Barry Kaye.
KTSA, San Antonio. Music. Radio.
This weekend, Kanios presents the history of rock and roll, the greatest songs, the greatest artists, from the 50s until the 60s.
KHJ at 1241 in Los Angeles. This is Barry Kaye, grazing in the grass with a trend of distinction. It's currently in Hollywood. It's 60 degrees.
The number one rock jock is back.
Seems Barry Kaye took the long way to get to Mason. Once selected as the number one disc jockey in America, he practically created high-energy radio that became a national sensation in the 60s and 70s. From Beeville, Texas, this celebrated voice took his radio show to San Antonio, Houston, and eventually Los Angeles.
Bill Young, one of the great legends in radio, wrote the definitive book about radio.
Yes.
And in it, he called you
The best in radio history.
Wow. When did you fall in love with Mason, Texas?
I was 6 years old. My best friend would come up here, and his mom, she would bring me with him once, maybe sometimes twice a year, to Mason and to see their uncle. And
you fell in love with this place?
Fell in love with it. When I got to the age that I could drive and come out here, I would come out and just drive around and dream. And
so let me get this straight. You start off in Beeville,
Texas.
Yeah,
Yep.
you eventually get up to Houston, but you've fallen in love with the little town of Mason, Texas. You work in San Antonio, you work in Dallas, you end up in Hollywood, and all those years in Houston again. And you've been working your whole life to get back here to Mason?
That's it. That's what it amounts to. That's what it amounts to.
Decades ago, in the height of his career, Barry bought 40 acres and a small cabin outside Mason and planned his escape from big city life.
This is my living room.
Only thing is, when this legend in broadcasting moved here, he couldn't find a job.
As you can tell, it's a beautiful kitchen.
And he was down to eating cold weenies and canned chili. So the great Barry Kaye found himself working the gas hut at the local grocery store.
It was the best $7.25 an hour a man could make.
Minimum wage at the time, right?
You bet. And I took that $187.50 every Thursday when the truck came in. And I went home and Dad burned it. I was in the Texas Hill Country, and I could put ketchup on that hot dog now.
but I'm here with all my stuff in the hill country.
Well, it took a couple of years, but finally Barry moved from the gas hut to KHLB, where his show is broadcast to several radio stations around the hill country.
I am in the hill country. I am not leaving. I had Sirius XM call for me to come back, but I wasn't leaving Texas hill country. Not going to do it. That was my dream, was to sit on a hill and see the sunset in the Texas hill country.
And to live here, you were willing to take that minimum wage job down there.
Absolutely.
It's worth it.
No question about it.
Let me put another rooster in the booster. It's Friday.
Get up!
Through so many years and millions of listeners, Barry's mind never strayed far from those vacation memories of the Texas hill country. His voice may have carried him to stardom, but his heart carried him here, to Mason, Texas, after 50 years.
Hometown Country, 102.5. That's it for Barry Kaye, HLB, Mason.
Every morning when I sign off at 9 o'clock, I know I'm going to say that's been a good day, because this is where I always wanted to be.